Okay, in this video I'm going to go through the salivary glands, the liver, the pancreas, and a little bit of the small intestine that we haven't covered in another video. So this is the model we'll use for the salivary glands. This is the big purple model with the whole digestive system on it. We won't use most of it, but we'll use this one. So number 4 here is the parotid salivary glands. And then there's 2 sets down here. You don't have to be able to distinguish the difference between the two. One is the submandibular, one is sublingual. Sublingual below the tongue, submandibular below the mandible. So those are the 3 sets of salivary glands. This is the your mouth, okay, and then this is going down the esophagus. But this is the model that we'll use for that. Okay, so Okay, so we're going to start with this liver. Okay, so this is the liver. Again, you have to orient this correctly. This is the anterior part of the liver, so the front. So if you put this on you, this would be the right lobe. This would be the right lobe, so kind of imagine that under your rib cage on the right side. This would be the left lobe. This is called the falciform ligament between the 2 lobes, and we'll see that also on the posterior side. So anterior side, right lobe, left lobe. So again, make sure you pick up a liver and orient it correctly so you can see that relationship between them. Next, we'll look at the posterior aspect of the liver. Let's go here. And I've kind of color-coded these to make it a little bit easier, unless you're colorblind, which I just thought of, but if that's a problem, let me know. So this is the posterior part, and I've blown it up a little bit. So here's the falciform ligament, okay, that runs between the 2 lobes. This is the gallbladder, okay, gallbladder. The gallbladder is going to store bile, which we'll talk about in the lecture videos. This is the cystic duct. Okay, this is where the bile will travel. This is where gallstones are produced in the gallbladder, and this is where they'll get stuck, and that'll cause pain. Okay. This is the right and left hepatic ducts. I don't care if you know which one's which, so these white structures right here are the right and left hepatic ducts. They will merge into the common hepatic duct, and then the common hepatic duct and the cystic duct will merge into the common bile duct. So let me go through that again. Right and left hepatic ducts merge into or unbranch into the common hepatic duct. This is the cystic duct out of the gallbladder. So the common hepatic duct and the cystic duct will merge into the common bile duct. And what we don't have a good image of is this common bile duct then it kind of goes behind the small intestine, and it's going to secrete the bile. Okay, it's going to secrete the bile into the small intestine at the duodenum level, or duodenum, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so again, right and left hepatic ducts, cystic duct, common hepatic duct, these 2 merge into the common bile duct, which then leads, and it'll actually kind of merge together to the pancreatic duct into the duodenum of the small intestine. So that is the liver and the structures that you need to know there. So now we're going to head to this view of the parts of the digestive system. So your liver would be your lobe would be here, smaller lobe here, okay, in this area. So remember, the stomach would be here, anterior or superficial to the pancreas. Okay, so this is the pancreas. So the parts of the pancreas, this region is called the head. This region is the body, and then this area here is the tail. The white line right here is the pancreatic duct. Okay. So remember, as food goes from the stomach into the duodenum of the small intestine, the 2 accessory organs here, the liver and the pancreas, are going to secrete. In the case of the liver, it's going to secrete bile. In terms of the pancreas, it's going to secrete enzymes, okay, into the duodenum to help digest the food that just came from the stomach. So this area here, we've gone over this in another video, is the duodenum or the duodenum. Okay. Now, you've got 2 you've got two terms, the major duodenal papilla. Let me find these so I can get you through them. Okay. You've got the major duodenal papilla and the hepatopancreatic ampulla. Okay. So the papilla you can see relatively easily, and I'll show you that. What you can't see on the models, but you need to know what it is the hepatopancreatic ampulla. Hepato, liver, pancreatic, pancreas. So what's going to happen is that pancreatic duct coming from the pancreas, okay, and I made a mistake here, and the common bile duct, I will change it as we sit live and in person, and the common bile duct, okay, the pancreatic duct and the common bile duct will come together, and where they come together there'll be a little bulge, and that bulge is going to be the hepatopancreatic ampulla. So I would ask you this in written form, formed by the union of the pancreatic duct and the common bile duct. Okay. Now that ampulla will then lead into the duodenum, and it has this little part that protrudes. The ampulla protrudes out into the duodenum, and that is the major duodenal papilla. This I can ask you on the model. This I can ask you in the form of a question. So let me show you. Let's go back to this. Okay, so what you're seeing here, the ampulla is kind of right here, but I can't really point to that. But this is the major duodenal papilla, and that is the opening, okay, into the duodenum. Okay, into the duodenum. The next thing I can show you on the small intestine here, since we're up close, is when you remember the small intestine is designed to increase surface area. Okay, it's designed to increase surface area because that's where most chemical digestion and absorption is going to take place. So you have these plica circularis, which are these waves within, okay, these folds within the small intestine. Now another thing that's on your list is then the villi and the microvilli. So again, the small intestine is designed to increase surface area as much as possible. These plica circularis increase the surface area. On the plica circularis are villi. They further increase the surface area. And then the microvilli on the villi increase the surface area. So I can't really point to the villi and microvilli easily. So you won't have those. Just know that what their purpose is to increase the surface area. Okay, to increase the surface area. So let me show you on this so you know what I'm talking about. If I'm going the right way. We hope I am. Yeah, so you got plica circularis, these circular folds, have villi, have microvilli, and then what's the function of the plica circularis and villi? Increase the surface area of the small intestine to assist with digestion. Okay. All right. So that pretty much covers, again, we covered the salivary glands, we covered the liver, and we've covered the pancreas with a little bit of the small intestine, showing you how the pancreas and the liver deliver their secretions into the small intestine. Okay, so make sure you know what you need to know, and if you have any questions, please let your instructor know.